Story begins with an explanation. It was a day that suddenly arrived. Everyone received a warning on their phone that warned them about the invasion of the strongest species, extraterrestrial life forms, so the government asked everyone to evacuate to the shelters. A big dragon is destroying the city. Everyone is scared of running for shelter, but a guy named Kurobohige is standing there to fight. He explains how he lived with stubborn pride for 15 years. But on this day, that pride was devoured along with him. 10 years ago, a massive swarm of extraterrestrial life forms even arrived from space. Thousands upon thousands of EVAs invaded Earth in an instant. Human weapons were ineffective against them. Humanity was thought to be on the brink of extinction, but ironically, due to the cosmic substance scattered by the EVAs, all of humanity awakened to their alpha abilities and the counterattack against EVAs began. Now in the present day, this is the 8th Special Forces Training School, aka Hachi School. It's this country's top training institution, gathering children 15 and older with exceptional alpha abilities to raise them into the strongest fighting force. Gue is also a student here, or he wished so. He is just a janitor working part-time here. Guy with brown hair throws a can at him and orders him to get to work, mentioning that Gue has no alpha abilities. Humanity ranks individuals based on their alpha ability levels. They create a system to respond quickly to EVAs. Amidst all this, Gue is the only human who didn't awaken to alpha abilities, so he's not even recognized as the lowest F rank who is unable to even attend school. But Gue has no intention of losing to these guys. He picks up the can and asks the brown hair guy to throw it himself. He just got beaten up in return. Brown angrily asks Gue to not order him around because he's an A rank and Gue is just an unranked normal human. He lights up the flames in his hand and mentions that he taught Gue plenty of times in middle school, but Gue still doesn't get the rule of alpha supremacy. So the bully decides to burn the rule into him. Suddenly his flames turned into ice. He looked behind and asked for the person who did that. That person is a girl. She tells him that he should be using his abilities against EVAs, not against a normal human. This girl is Orin, also known as the Ice Witch, and she's an S rank who at first at Hachi School, a promising elite among elites. Brown hair guy leaves as he realizes his place, but he is still acting arrogantly. She picks up the can and tells Gue that he should not defy those of higher rank. In times of emergency, they even have permission to kill lower-ranked individuals. Gue thanks her for picking up the can. Before leaving, he mentions that a person's worth is determined by their actions, not their ranks. It's Gue's job to support the Hachi School students who protect everyone. Hearing that, Orin thinks that he is a very strange person. 8 years ago, Kid Gue was crying in front of his mom because everyone made fun of him for having no alpha abilities. Here his mom told him that it's okay if he has no alpha abilities. A person's worth isn't determined by what they have, but it's determined by what they do. So she tells him that he just has to be useful to someone in his own way. Gue gets happy and decides to give it a try. Unfortunately, his mom got very sick. Doctor told Gue that his mother's body couldn't withstand her own alpha ability and there's currently no treatment available. In the corner, nurses are making fun of them because they both haven't awakened any alpha abilities. They call them a worthless parent and child. Hearing that, Gue gets angry and asks them to not decide his and his mom's worth on their own. He tells them that the person's worth is determined by what they do, not by their alpha ranks or abilities. In the present, Gue is doing his janitor work in full energy. He is full of energy because he has finished his day's work before noon. There is a chance he'll be able to clean the outside too. Gue is outside doing his work while the students are about to start their practical training. The teacher has prepared a C-class EVA for each student. These students who are standing here are all B tank or higher. Since it's a rank lower than them, they have to defeat it within a minute. The teacher releases the EVAs. Orin and the brown hair guy was easily able to defeat them. Students are shocked after seeing how both of them have defeated their opponents in just one hit. One boy even said that at this rate, even S-class will be no match for them. Gue is just doing his work from afar. But suddenly a beam of blue light goes past him. A big dragon appeared in the school. Without wasting a moment, they ordered all the C or higher rank students to move to intercept. Gue is just standing near it wondering what kind of EVA is that. It's the Eva from the strongest species. All the students start running for their lives. Orin asks them to wait and fight the monster together, but they are all just too scared. Eva starts eating the students. It looks toward Orin. When it was about to eat her, Gue threw a bag of trash at it to distract it. He picks her up and starts running. Gue has already cleaned all the sewers, so they decide to flee from there. Inside the sewer, Orin asks him why he is doing something so reckless, especially without alpha abilities. Gue answers saying that he just did what he can do, and also mentions that one doesn't need an alpha ability to help people. Orion thanks him for saving her life. They finally reach the shelter entrance, but the door was about to close. Gue requests them to let him and Orin in, but they replied that the shelter is already full because the residents also rushed and now there is no room for more people. Then a guy notices Orin and realizes that he is a S-rank student. They decide to make room for her no matter what. When they were about to enter, a guy pushed him outside saying that they have no space for an unranked like him. Orin requests them to let him in as he is the person who saved her life. She decides to let him in instead of herself. Now there is no time for more talk as the dragon is already near them. They decide to close the door immediately. Gue pushes her in the shelter saying that rank and ability doesn't matter, a person's worth is determined by their actions. Now the door is closed and Gue is the only one outside. Seeing the dragon so close, he realizes that he lived his whole life with a stubborn pride and now he is against a species that is so strong even for the top rankers. But he still decides to fight back. It is no use because the dragon just ate him. In his last moments, he gets happy because he died saving someone. But this happiness is all a lie. He's tried so hard believing that actions determine a person's worth. But the truth is he always wanted an alpha ability. He wanted to awaken an alpha ability and show up those who look down on his mother. But that's impossible now. He says sorry to his mom. When he died, system notification popped up saying that the alpha ability activation condition, death, has been met. His ability is an apex predator's black hole. Black hole activates that start consuming the dragon. Dragon shouts in pain as its body is slowly being sucked in by a black hole. Slowly, black hole completely consumes the dragon and enters the decomposition and reconstruction phase. An egg-like thing drops on the ground. When it broke, Gue came out of it. He can't believe he's alive because he just got eaten by the strongest species. As he gets back to his senses, he realizes that he is very hungry. System notifies him that the strongest spaces of Eva have been successfully consumed. He can now use its unique alpha ability. System asks him if he wants to use it. He suddenly falls on the ground and the little black hole on his hand absorbs the eggshell. After that, when he wakes up, he sees that dragon standing in front of him asking him to give back its body. Dragon was about to eat him, but then he woke up again in the hospital. This was just inside his head. He can't believe that he is alive because he just got eaten by the strongest species. When he looks at his hand, he notices a little black hole on it. Mini version of the dragon came out from the black hole who is still asking for its body. Gue didn't recognize it and asked who it was. Dragon gets angry and points at its magnificent horns, sharp fangs that tear through everything. This dragon is the king of what humans called extraterrestrial life forms. It is the strongest species. Gue still refuses to believe it, because when he saw the strongest species last time, it was so big and strong looking. Dragon tries to make him believe that he is the strongest species by pointing at the patterns that are on his horns. Gue recognizes that pattern but still refuses to believe him. In the end, the dragon decides to tell him his real name that is known by very few even in the universe. Bruh, the dragon has even forgotten his name. Gue snaps and punches him in the face. He finally believes that this little thing is indeed the strongest species. Gue starts beating him, saying that because of him many students died. He decides to avenge everyone. Then the dragon reminds him that he has already devoured him. He tells Gue that his body is made from the dragon's body. Dragon thought that he had eaten Gue, but his body was pulled from the inside. And Gue's body smells like his body. White Gue received a great body, but the dragon has been reduced to this pitiful state. And he can even speak the language of humans now. Gue can't believe that his body is now made out of the strongest species body. He suddenly hides the dragon because someone is coming. This is Orin. She gets very happy seeing Gue is fine. Gue doesn't know her because he just saved without a reason. She tells him that her name is Hyoga Orin. He decides to call her Orin, even though she is a high ranker. Gue is addressing her so casually. She accused him for disobeying her order. She will not tolerate such disobedience again. She reminds him that it's her job to protect citizens, not his. Gue tells her that he just did what he could do at that moment. Suddenly, the room's temperature starts dropping. Orin is using her ability to ask Gue the truth about how he survived a week ago from that incident with the strongest species and where did that strongest species disappear. She tells him that telling the truth is what he can do for humanity right now. Gue asks her if it's really been a week since that incident. Orin confirms that he was really unconscious for a week and turns on the TV to show him how the world is right now. A news reporter reports that the strongest species that suddenly appeared at the school mysteriously disappeared. The investigation is still ongoing. During the attack, due to the strong species assault, there was radio interference. All cameras and such were destroyed, that's why there is no record. According to the only eyewitness report, at the point where the strongest species disappeared, there was only one boy, but the details are still unknown. Gue wonders if the mysterious boy who was there at that moment is him. Orin answers with yes and asks him about what happened outside the shelter that day. The strongest species is an Eva with the power to destroy humanity, that's why they must find and deal with it urgently. For that purpose, Orin, as an S-ranker of the 8th Special Force, came to question Gue about what happened on that day. Gue was about to tell the truth, but the dragon in his head calls him a fool for telling the truth so easily. This is hurting his head. Dragon dares him to tell the humans that Gue has eaten the body of the strongest species and made his body from it if he wants to die. But Gue, who is a very good person, decides to tell the truth and shows her the mini dragon and black mark in his hand and tells her that he ate the strongest species with his alpha abilities. Orin gets confused because she can't see anything. Gue wonders if she can't see the dragon or the black mark. She thinks that he is just joking and requests him to answer properly or she will fulfill her duty. We see a big monster flying outside. Dragon knows who that is and can't believe that it arrived already. Dragon suddenly asks Gue to get out of here. When Gue asked for the reason, the dragon told him that he would tell him later. That big monster breaks the window of the hospital and enters. Gue falls on the ground with the dragon in his hand. Orin uses her magic and creates an absolute ice wall. She realized that this is an extraterrestrial life form. Dragon wonders why it is here. He asks Gue to get out of here because this one is above than even S ranks. It is here because it caught the whiff of dragon's scent. Gue asks him the meaning of what he said. He tells him that the Evis on Earth are mostly the ones he beat up before coming here. This Eva noticed that he is weak and came to eat his body, which means its target is Gue as he is made of the dragon's body. Orin is barely holding it. Her absolute ice wall that can withstand even S-rank Eva attacks is struggling against it. Seeing her struggle, Gue pushes her and asks her to run away because it seems to be after Gue. Orin might now know that circumstances, but she refuses to run away as her mission is to protect the citizens. She attacks Eva with an ice pillar. She gets proud of herself saying that she can beat many Evas of this level. But she gets shocked seeing how her ice pillars disappear without even doing a little damage. Now Eva is about to attack. Orin asks Gue to hide behind her. Then the dragon tells him that this is his chance to escape because that Eva's attention is on Orin. But Gue refuses to run away and slams into the Eva. Orin asks him to run away because he doesn't have an alpha ability. He just simply said like before that he is doing what he can do. Now Eva is looking at Gue. He sees a tree outside the hospital. He decides to jump on that tree so that he can climb down and go somewhere without people. Dragon gets angry because there is a chance he will not make it and he is concerned for his body. Gue replies saying that there is no other choice. He jumps with full force and gets shocked seeing how high he jumped. It feels like he is flying in the sky. But he doesn't know how to control this flying ability or how to land properly. Dragon asks him to calm down and focus on landing. Gue successfully lands without getting hurt even though he fell from the sky. Dragon reveals that he has lended him his power. Then we see a bird monster from before is coming for them. They need to go somewhere without people quickly. Dragon takes this opportunity to make a deal with Gue. Dragon tells him that he will kill that bird monster if he gives him his body, otherwise, everyone, including the building, will be obliterated. For that bird monster, it's as easy as eating breakfast. Either everyone dies, or Gue hands over his body to the dragon. Choice is his. Gue asks him to explain what he is saying. Dragon tells him to just hand over his body because that was originally his, and he can feel that he can use it properly because previously he was the one who lent his power to Gue in order to land properly. Bird monster is about to catch up. Gue thinks about what the dragon has done before and decides to never give him his body. Because if he does that, the dragon will do even worse things. Bird monster attacked him but he barely dodged it. Gue realizes that this bird will not show him any mercy. Suddenly, Gue hears a woman scream who is on a wheelchair outside a building. She wasn't able to evacuate in time. He tries to grab the monster's attention by calling it. Dragon tells him to do any unnecessary things and just hand over the body. Gue realizes that it's true his body is made out of the strongest species and decides to attack, but his attack did no harm to the monster. Dragon reminds him that he has to get his permission before using his powers. Without it, Gue is just a normal human. Monster is about to launch another attack. Dragon asks him one last time to hand over his body. Gue grabs him from the face and reminds him he is being noisy and that monster is here just because of him. He tells the dragon that he will use his powers without lending him his body. Monster attack is about to land. Gue remembers the last thing he can do in this situation. If the dragon is not going to lend him his power, then the dragon who is the greatest threat to humans will die here. So to not die by the hands of an idiot, the dragon decides to give him his powers. The dragon enters the little black mark that was on his body. As he enters, Gue starts feeling his powers. Gue decides to collide his attack with the bird monster attack in order to save the hospital and people. System tells him that it is going to release the energy from the consumed strongest species and the release rate is just 0.0001%. When Gue's attack hit collides with bird monster's attack, Gue wins the power battle and the bird also dies with just a single attack. System notifies him that it is going to return to normal mode as the limited release has ended. Gue is shocked because he has realized how strong the strongest species is. He gets exhausted and falls down. Orin came running there and the first thing she saw was the corpse of the bird monster. She thinks that Gue did it but couldn't believe that because she thinks that he has no alpha abilities.